Hello everybody, welcome to Israel's Church of the Living God. I'm Brother Rodney and Brother Caleb will be reading today. We'll be doing a lesson today, the Israelites, bondage to restoration. Bondage to restoration. And this is the 4th Chronicles. Sorry, last week we had some technical difficulties with the lesson. So we will be covering a lot of that which we covered last week, and we're just going to bring it on home today. So now the name of the lesson today is the Israelites' bondage to resurrection, 4th Chronicles. So we're going to start a lesson off in Nehemiah, the 9th chapter. And with this lesson, we're going to deal with the children of Israel going into bondage, and then finally them coming out of bondage and going back to their land. Because a lot of people don't understand that that's what's going to happen when the Lord returns. The Lord is going to deliver his people back to their land. And we are those people. So we do, as the children of Israel, have something to look forward to. That's if we want to get. That's if we continue to keep God's laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Now, because that's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in now, because our people didn't want to keep his laws, commandments, and his statutes. So we're going to start this off in Nehemiah, the 9th chapter, though. Nehemiah, the 9th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Nehemiah 9 and 7. Everybody got it? Amen. Go ahead and read.
Thou art the Lord, the God, who dost choose Abram, and broughteth him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gaveth him the name of Abraham, and found his heart faithful before thee, and made a covenant with him.
Now you see that? And found his heart faithful before thee. Because, that's what this is all about. You having faith in God and keeping his commandments. Because I was just talking to a brother, and he said, well, the Old Testament is about you being under the law, and the New Testament is about you being under faith. I'm telling you, both Testaments are about you being under faith and being under the law.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Now read that scripture again.
8.
Like I tried to tell you, bro, faith goes all the way back to the garden. But most assuredly with Abraham, doesn't it?
Come on.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. 8. And found his heart faithful before thee, and made it a covenant with him to give the land of Canaanites.
To give them the land of the Canaanites. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. The land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it, I say, to his seed, and has performed thy words, for thou art righteous. And didst see the affliction of our fathers in Egypt, and heardeth their cry by the Red Sea, and showeth signs and wonders upon Pharaoh, and on all his servants, and on all the people of his land. For thou knewest that they dealt proudly against them, so didst thou get thee a name as it is this day. And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on dry land. And their persecutors thou threwest into the deep, as a stone into the mighty waters.
So this is what happened when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, right? They the Lord took them through the Red Sea. But we not really dealing with that. But skip down to verse 21, because he said he gave them the land of the Canaanites, didn't he?
That's right, brother.
We're going to find out who these Canaanites are in a minute. But skip down to verse 21. Go ahead and read.
Yea, 40 years did thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing. Their clothes waxed not old, and their feet swelled not. Moreover, thou gavest them kingdoms and nations, and didst divide them into corners. So they possessed the land of Sihon, and the land of king of Heshbon.
Now these are Canaanites right here. He gave them their land to possess. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the land of the king of Heshbon, in the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multiplied thou as the stars of heaven, and brought them into the land, concerning which thou hast promised to their fathers. that they should go in to possess it.
Now I'm going here for a reason. So everybody just hold on to your seat. We're going here for a reason. Go ahead and read. Verse 24, go ahead.
24. So the children went in and possessed the land.
So they went in and possessed the land. What land did they possess? Go ahead and read.
And thou subdued before them the inhabitants of the land. The Canaanites.
That's the land that they inhabited. The land of the Canaanites. The Amorites, the Hittites, and Hivites. Those are all Canaanite people. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Of the land, the Canaanites, and gave them into their hands, with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. And they took strong cities and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods.
Now look, they just walked in and took it. You understand? Houses and full of all goods and vineyards and everything. Lord, just set them up. Go in there and take it.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Wells digged, vineyards and olive yards, and fruit trees, and in abundance. So they did eat, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in thy great goodness.
Now, so they went into the land of the Canaanites, and they just walked on in and took everything, didn't they? Now, let's see how long the Lord had given them this land. Let's go to Psalm 105. Psalm 105, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8. Psalm 105 and 8. How long did he give them this land? Psalm 105 and 8. Go ahead and read it.
He hath remembered his covenant forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
The word which he commanded to what?
1,000 generations.
1,000 generations. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. Which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac. And confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law. And to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
And to Israel for everlasting covenant. What was the covenant? Go ahead.
Saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
Now, that's the covenant right there. He said, of thee, I'm going to give you the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. And he promised them this land forever, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
Let's go now. Let's find out who these Canaanites are. Let's find out who the Canaanites are. Let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. Genesis 10. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Genesis 10 and 6. Let's find out who these Canaanites are. Everybody got it? Amen. Go ahead and read.
6.
And
the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan.
Now, these are the 4 sons of Ham. This Ham is Noah's son, right? So he said the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Now I'm just going to tell you that Cush, that's Ethiopia. Mizraim, the Egyptians came out of them. Put, that's Libya. And then we got the Canaanites, which the Amorites, the Hivites. And we're going to get to that. Skip down to verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
And Canaan begot Sidon, and his firstborn and Heth. And the Jebusites.
And the Jebusites. Remember we read about that over in Nehemiah? This the land that he gave the children of Israel? He promised to the children of Israel? Go ahead and read.
And the Jebusites.
So these are, now we're looking at what we commonly know today as African people. Right? That's Ham seed. We're going to see that, but go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 16.
Go ahead.
And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgazite, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite.
Go ahead.
And the Arbatite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
See, this is a family of the Canaanites. Because this is the land that he promised them. The land of the Canaanites. And all these sons inhabited these lands before the children of Israel came and took it over. Verse 19, go ahead and read it.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon. As thou comest to Gera unto Gaza.
Gaza?
Yes,
everybody heard of the Gaza Strip, didn't we? So we know what we're dealing with now, don't we? We're dealing right there around the land of Israel. That's what God's script is, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All these years, all the way back here from Genesis 10th chapter up until now, we still dealing with Gaza. But it was inhabited first by black people, which were the Canaanites.
Yes, sir.
Finish that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says,
I'll tell you, read 19 again.
and the border of the Canaanites were from Sidon, as thou camest to Gerar, unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. These are also black people right here, or the sons of Ham. Go ahead and read.
And Atma, and Zeboim, even unto Lusha.
Go ahead, verse 20.
These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations.
These are the sons of Ham. And the ones we just dealt with were the Canaanites, right? And this is the ones that the Lord gave the children of Israel their land, the Canaanites. We're going to read something now out of Revell Bible Dictionary under Ham.
This is the Revell Bible Dictionary, page 464. Ham. Ham's sons are progenitors of populations which settled in major geographical areas. Cush, in parentheses, Ethiopia.
Cush, that's Ethiopia. That's one of Ham's sons, right?
Yes, sir.
That's his oldest son. Go ahead.
Mizraim, in parentheses, Egypt.
Mizraim, that's Egypt. Go ahead and read.
It says including Africa. Put, Libya.
Put is Libya.
And Canaan. Palestine.
Canaan, Palestine. What country is called Palestine right now? Where's Palestine at? Ain't that in Israel?
Come on.
That's what Israel is called, Palestine. And one of the cities is called what? Gaza. You finished that?
No, sir. It says in Canaan, Palestine, in Scripture, Egypt is sometimes spoken of as the land of Ham.
Egypt is sometimes spoken of as the land of Ham, but I got news for you. That whole country, or that whole continent was called the land of Ham.
Teach.
Now, we're going to read Ham one more time here.
This is the World Book Dictionary, volume A through K, page 959. Ham, a son of Noah, probably the second son, regarded as the legendary ancestor of African races.
Oh, he is regarded as the legendary ancestor of the African races.
Yes, sir.
Ham. You finished that?
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're going to read you one more thing here. Well, actually two more. This we're dealing with Israel now, because the Lord gave Israel the land of Canaan, didn't he? Now let's see what that land of Canaan was called.
This here, Revell Bible Dictionary, page 529. Divisions of the land.
Now he's talking about the Canaanite land, which God gave to the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says one of the most significant Old Testament events is the division of Canaan, described in the book of Joshua. God promised Abraham that his descendants would possess Canaan.
God promised his descendants would possess what?
Canaan.
Canaan. Go ahead and read.
Centuries later, God delivered those descendants from Egypt. God brought them to Canaan, where the Jews broke the military power of the city-states established there.
Oh, so they broke the power of the military in the land of Canaan and those established states that were there. Go ahead.
Says, then Joshua allotted land to each tribe.
Oh, then Joshua turned around and allotted the land to each tribe. What land? The land of the Canaanites.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
allotted lands to each tribe and within the tribal territories to clans and households.
So now we understand then that Joshua, he divided the land up of the Canaanites, right? And to the 12 tribes, right? Now, let's go now. Let's go now, because we're gonna look at the Canaanite captives right here. All right, we're gonna read that. Come on, let's read that.
Canaanite captives in Egypt, being led before the Pharaoh, this relief which portrays the general appearance of Israelites.
Hold it now. This relief betrays the general appearance of Israelites. Now, we know that the Canaanites are black people, don't we? But now we got information right here saying that the Canaanites and the Israelites look just alike. So what color are the Israelites then? That would make them black then, wouldn't it? If the Israelites looked like the Canaanites. And we know that the Lord gave the Israelites the land of Canaan, didn't we? And the Canaanites are the sons of Ham, which we commonly know today as what? African people. We just read that, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
So the Israelites look African. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Back at the top. Canaanite captives in Egypt being led before the Pharaoh. Now
Egypt is one of Ham's sons too, ain't he?
Yes, sir.
And we know that he black too, don't we? Go ahead and read.
It says, this relief, which portrays the general appearance of the Israelites as well as Canaanites, is a good representation of the typical Semite of the day.
Now, the Semites, which was like Abraham. Abraham was a Semite.
Yes, sir.
Isaac, Jacob, those were Semites, right? They were black too, or the sons of Shem. But go ahead and read.
It says, note the noble, aristocratic features, particularly the finely cut noses, and the long hair and beards.
Go ahead.
It is commonly thought that Israelites had hooked noses, but this was originally a Hittite or Ammonite feature.
Now, so we got the Israelites that look like who? The Canaanites, which are what? African people. So the Israelites look like the African people. Now, which are black, right? But hold on one minute. Let's go now. We're gonna go to James, the first chapter, because when you get all the way down to the first century, Israel was scattered then, and they were in black countries then. Just like they were down in bondage to the Egyptians, which were black people, they were down and went to bondage in other black countries too. Let's go to James, the first chapter. James, the first chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse, James 1 and 1. James 1 and 1. James 1 and 1. Go ahead and read.
James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Now we're looking at this in the first century right here. Now we're going to pick up some of the places where the children of Israel had been scattered. Let's go to Acts, the second chapter. Acts 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Acts 2 and 1. Because, you know, some people try to say that this talking about Gentiles, which means everybody. Well, these are Israelites right here that we did what he's going to tell you. Acts 2 and pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read that.
And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Go ahead.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Now, you know, who did the Lord command to keep the day of Pentecost? He commanded the Israelites to keep the day of Pentecost, didn't he?
Yes, sir. So
that's why these people were there. Let's see who these people were. Skip down to verse 5. Skip down to verse 5. Who are these people that all together in one place? Go ahead and read.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
Oh, so that's who was there?
Yes, sir.
On the day of Pentecost? Jews. Devout men out of every nation under heaven. Jews. Why? Because just like James said, to the 12 tribes that have been scattered. Because at this time, they had been scattered. So now, that's who was at Jerusalem at this time. Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven, right?
Yes, sir.
Skip down to verse 9 and start reading. Let's see some of these countries. Verse 9, go ahead and read.
Parthians,
Uh-huh.
and Medes,
Go ahead.
and Elamites,
Edomites, those are Semitic people right there. Go ahead and read. Which are black people. We just read so Semites are black people, right?
yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Parthians and Medes and Elamites,
Uh-huh.
and dwellers in Mesopotamia,
Go ahead.
and Judea,
Uh-huh.
and Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia,
Uh-huh.
Pergia, Pamphylia,
Uh-huh.
and Egypt.
Egypt, stop right there. Egypt, that's a black country, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That was originally a black country. And the children of Israel and still some of them still in Egypt.
That's true. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
And in the parts of Libya.
Libya, that's put right there, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
That's a black country originally, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
And what we commonly know as an African country. So they were scattered in these countries already, and then they came to Jerusalem to keep what? The day of Pentecost.
Yes, sir.
Jews, though.
Mm-hmm.
Devout men coming from every nation under heaven, coming to keep the day of Pentecost. But we got them in some of these black countries right here already, don't we?
Indeed.
Finish that.
Yes, sir. Back at 10.
Uh-huh.
Pergia and Pamphylia in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya,
Uh-huh.
among Cyrene and strangers of Rome,
Uh-huh.
Jews and proselytes.
Go ahead.
Cretes and Arabians.
Greece and Arabians. Arabia is on the African continent, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and finish that.
We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God.
So now we got the children of Israel, the 12 tribes have been scattered into some African countries already, don't we? Now, we're going to bring up this, now I'm going to show you that it's still some in Ethiopia right now. So now we're going to read this right here. We're just going to read that in this right here. Just read that. Now this is where the children of Israel, or the tribe of Dan, is in Ethiopia. They're still there. But some of them were airlifted out of there twice. The first one was called Operation Moses. The second one, Operation Solomon. But look, this is what the guy said. Looks like in the 80s. Look at what he said right here.
It destroyed my faith.
Now look at that girl right there. She is from the tribe of Dan. And what color is she? She's black, ain't she? We got a good picture of it? Okay, go ahead and read that now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It destroyed my faith, he says. We were Jews for 3,000 years.
Wait a minute. He said we were Jews for 3,000 years. If they were Jews for 3,000 years, that would put them before Christ then, wouldn't it? 1,000 years before Christ. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says, that's why I came here. This country has been in existence for 50 years.
Talking about the ones that started in 1949, calling themselves Jews or whatever, and they started the country of Israel and made it a state, founded as a state like 1949. Right? But this guy come along during the 80s and say, hey man, it destroyed my faith. He says, we were Jews for 3,000 years. That's why I came here. This country has been in existence for 50 years. Go ahead and read.
How do they have the right to decide who is Jewish?
Uh-huh.
To say that only whites are Jews?
How do they have the right to decide who is Jew and say only whites are Jews? I'm going to tell you right now, ain't no such thing as no white Jew. Unless you're going to be spiritual.
Make that plain. Make it plain.
Ain't no such thing. So he said, you know, we've been Jews for 3,000 years. How do they have the right to say who is Jewish? They've only been in existence for 50 years. Now, but you see what color the girl is, right? She black, right? And they're in Ethiopia. How'd they get there? They was carried as slaves to Ethiopia. Just like the children of Israel were in bondage in Egypt. Blacks among black people had black people in slavery. In fact, black people had black people in slavery before the Gentiles did.
It's written.
Let's go now. Let's go, because our mentality is the white man this, the white man that. I'm going to show you, it wasn't just the white man. The white man came along later. Much later. Let's go now. Let's go to Leviticus, the 26th chapter. Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26 and 1. But if we understood our history, then we would know that who took us into slavery first. We would know that black people had us in slavery first.
Yes, sir.
Leviticus 26, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Leviticus 26 and 1. Now we're going to go back down and show you that the Lord told the children of Israel that he was going to take care of them. He was going to bless them if they kept his commandments, but if they didn't, he was going to curse them. But we're going to go to Leviticus, the 26th chapter first. Go ahead and start reading verse 1. Go ahead.
Ye shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land, to bow down unto it.
Go ahead.
For I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary.
Now notice that
I am
Sabbath,
the Lord.
It's got an S on it. Then every time the Lord started giving them commandments, he always tell them, look, man, keep my commandments, keep my Sabbaths. Because this is why they got in trouble. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Verse 3.
If
ye walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and in the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit, and your threshing shall reach into the vintage, and vintage shall reach into the sowing time.
Go ahead.
And ye shall eat your bread to the full.
In other words, you know what? I'm going to control the rain where it's going to cause the vegetation to grow, and you're going to eat to the full. I'm going to take care of you. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
God said, you know what? I'm going to do this directly for y'all. Now, skip down to verse 20. Skip down to verse 8. Sorry, skip down to verse 8. Go ahead and read it.
8?
Yeah.
And five of you shall chase 100. And 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight.
Look, not only am I going to feed you, I'm going to make y'all warriors. You understand? 5 of y'all going to put 100 to flight, and 10 of y'all going to put 1,000. 100 of y'all going to put 10,000 to flight. That's something, ain't it?
Indeed.
I'm going to make y'all warriors. Y'all going to be the baddest ones on the planet. Go ahead and read.
And your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I would have respect unto you, and make you fruitful.
Go ahead.
Multiply you.
And you going to have a lot of children, too.
Oh, yeah.
We still got that, though, didn't we? Go ahead and read.
And multiply you and establish my covenant with you.
See, he always going back to this covenant. You understand? Always going back. You got to come into a covenant. You got to come into agreement with you. I'm going to do this for you, but you got to do this. You got to keep my commandments. Go ahead and read.
10. And ye shall eat old store and bring forth old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you.
Go ahead.
And I will walk among you and will be your God. And ye shall be my people.
He said, I'm going to walk among you and be your God, and you're going to be my people. That is really something, ain't it?
Indeed.
God that created this world was walking among our people.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read.
I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt. And ye shall not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright.
Go ahead.
But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant,
go ahead.
I also will do this unto you.
Go ahead.
I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ark of that shall consume the eyes. The burning ache that could cause sorrow. Excuse me.
Just read verse 16 again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I also will do this unto you, and will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ache that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
So now, if you don't keep my commandments, I'm gonna take all that I was gonna give you, like the food and the land and all that, and then make you warriors. No, I'm not gonna do that for you. Verse 17, what did it say?
And I will set my face against you.
And I'm gonna set my face against you. Go ahead and read.
And ye shall be slain before your enemies.
And you shall be slain before your enemies. Instead of you putting 1,000 to flight and 10,000 to flight, you're going to be slain before your enemy. Go ahead and read.
They that hate you shall reign over you. And ye shall flee when none pursueth
They
you.
that hate you, they're going to reign over you. Go flee when none pursue. Always you're going to be, Lord going to give you that trembling heart. Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Because he told them more than once, look, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you. If you don't, I'm going to curse you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, I want to do you good, you understand? But if you don't do right by me, then I'm going to punish you. Deuteronomy 28:1, Deuteronomy 28:1. Go ahead and read it.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Ooh. I'm going to set you high above all the nations of the earth, meaning everybody got to come to you for everything, for wisdom, for finance, for everything. I'm going to set you high above all the nations of the earth. Go ahead and read.
Verse 2. All these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
Ooh, this blessing going to come on you and overtake you. Everywhere you turn. But what we got now?
The opposite.
We got the opposite, don't we? Go ahead and read.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground.
Go ahead.
And the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So now, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you, Israel. But on the other hand, if you don't keep my commandments, what's going to happen? Skip down to verse 15. Skip down to verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you, and the blessing is going to overtake you. But if you don't keep my commandments, I'm going to curse you, and the curse is going to overtake you.
Simple.
Skip down to verse 29. Go ahead.
29. And thou shalt grope at
28. I'm sorry, 28.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
See, that's what he's going to do when he curse you, because you didn't keep his commandments. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore.
Now, who is oppressed people even today? We are.
Yes, sir.
No matter what country we go into, we are still oppressed people, aren't we? That's right. And you can tell Israel too, because they're always poor, ghettos, and all this stuff. Right? Wherever you go. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God's going to keep his word. He said, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you. If you don't, I'm going to curse you, and you're going to be spoiled and oppressed evermore.
Oh, yeah.
And look at us. Go ahead and read. There are people that call themselves Jews. Are they spoiled and oppressed evermore? They got a country. They got money. They own Hollywood. They own the loaning institutions.
That's right.
How are they spoiled and oppressed evermore?
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Now, what happened during the times of slavery?
That.
The man would come, and the master would come and take the slave woman and lay with her, wouldn't he?
That's it, brother.
But skip down. We're gonna come back to that. Skip down to verse 33. Read verse 33.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
You're gonna be oppressed and crushed always. Always. And we are still oppressed, aren't we? And crushed. Just look at our people. We're the only ones that fit this. Now, we're going to go now. Let's go to, let's see what happened. What they cursed. Let's go to Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43. And we're going to pick it up at verse 27. Isaiah 43 and 27. Let's see if Israel was cursed. Isaiah 43, and we're going to pick it up at verse 27. Let's see if they were cursed or not. Go ahead and read it.
Thy first father hath sinned, and thy teachers have transgressed against me.
We already know they was cursed now, don't we?
Come on.
But keep reading.
Therefore I have profaned the princes of the sanctuary. And have given Jacob to the curse.
And have given, who is Jacob? That's Israel, ain't it? He said, I have given Jacob to the curse. Go ahead.
And Israel to reproaches.
And Israel to reproaches. So now we understand that the children of Israel were cursed, don't we? But let's read this again. Let's go to Daniel now. Let's go to Daniel, the 9th chapter. Daniel 9. And we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Daniel 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read it.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
So we know what time it is now, don't we? We ain't got to really ask ourselves, were they cursed then, do we? But keep reading.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses.
Go ahead.
The servant of God.
Why?
Because we have sinned against him.
Because we have sinned against him. So the curses have been poured upon the children of Israel. Verse 12.
And he have confirmed his word.
See, God gonna keep his word.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
He gonna keep it and confirm it too. Just look at us. Keep reading.
And he have confirmed his words which he spake against us. And against our judges that judged us.
Go ahead.
By bringing upon us a great evil.
By bringing upon this people a great evil. Go ahead and read.
For under the whole heaven have not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem.
And I'm going to tell you something, have not been upon the whole heaven, have not been done to this Negro.
That's right.
It's plain.
That has been done to Jerusalem. I'm going to show you, man. We are the children of Israel.
Yes.
Indeed, indeed.
Because you can't find nobody in the history of man that what the Lord has said was going to happen to the children of Israel that it happened to us.
That's right.
This one is called the Negro. And we know that the people in Israel was black, don't we? The children of Israel was black.
Yes.
And they took over black country, didn't they?
Yes.
Let's go now. Let's go to Isaiah the 58th chapter, because, you know, somebody need to let our people know what the problem is with us. Somebody need to let us know. Our people know. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to show Israel their sins.
Amen.
Because the Lord said, if you keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you. If you don't, I'm going to curse you. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in today.
That's right.
But our people don't understand this. Why? Because, you know, they following after the Gentiles teaching. And then we would try to show people, look, man, we the children of Israel. Here it is right here in the Bible. I don't want to see that. Well, look, what about history? You want to see that? No, man, I ain't trying to. What about some DNA, man? He got some pictures right here.
That's right.
Isaiah 58:1. I'm going to show you why that is too later on. Isaiah 58, we're going to read one verse, verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
Cry aloud. Spare not.
And that's what we've been doing. We've been crying out, haven't we?
Yes,
all of us. Been crying out to our families, our friends, everybody we come into contact with. We've been crying out to them, haven't we?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cry aloud. Spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Go ahead.
And show my people their transgressions.
And show my people their transgressions. Go ahead and read.
And the house of Jacob their sins.
And show the house of Jacob what?
Their sins.
Their sins. And that's what we've been doing, haven't we?
That's right.
Somebody cried aloud when they showed us, didn't they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Showing us.
Say, come here, man. Let me show you right here in the Bible. You understand why we're in the condition that we're in. We are where we're supposed to be according to the book, according to the Bible, aren't we?
Praise
Hallelujah.
God. Yes.
Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. And then we're going to pick it back up at 15 again. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Then we're going to skip down to verse 25. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Skip down to verse 25 and read it.
The Lord shall curse thee, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemy. Thou shalt go out one way against them.
Go ahead.
And flee 7 ways before them. And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
And you gonna be, this is one of the curses. That you gonna, Israel, you're gonna be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. A bell should go off in your head. Ding, ding, ding.
That's right.
You're going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. That guy that called himself a Jew, was he removed into all the kingdoms of, remove me, somebody going to come and get you and take you.
That's right.
That guy that called himself a Jew, was he removed into all the kingdoms of the earth? Did somebody come and get, when was he removed here then to the United States? Skip down to verse 30, skip down to verse 36 and read.
36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
When our people came over here, we didn't know nothing about these people, did we?
That's right. That's right.
Say, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods. Our people serve all gods, don't we?
That's right.
Except our God.
That's right.
The right one, right.
The only true and living God.
Yes, sir.
We in Islam, Buddha, you name it. Catholic, Sunday Christians, we in all of it, aren't we? Just like the Lord said, you're going to be brought to these countries that your fathers didn't know, and you're going to serve their other gods, wood and stone. And then here come Christmas, what they doing? Falling down and bowing, trying to get them presents, aren't they? Serving that other God. People don't understand that the Christmas tree was once worshipped as a god.
Yes, sir.
An idol. People idol worship. And that's what our people have been doing. Hook, line, and sinker, just like the Bible said, don't it? That one that called himself a Jew, he worshiped Judaism, don't he? You don't see him in Catholic, Buddha, and all. You don't see him in all these other religions, do you? You, for the most part, you see them in Judaism. And that ain't God's religion neither, to tell you the truth. Now, Let's go now. Skip down to verse 68, because he said you're going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, didn't he? Let's find out how the children of Israel are going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Verse 68, go ahead and read it.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now, what does Egypt represent? The house of bondage, right? Yeah. Go ahead and read. The Lord going to bring you into bondage again with ships.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there shall be,
and there ye shall be,
and there ye shall be, sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you.
Now you see, well, how they gonna get removed into all the kingdoms of the earth? On ships. How did our people get here? How did we get to the Asian continent? How did we get to Europe? On ships. You know, we all over the United States, North, South, Central America. How did we get here though? Ships. On ships. Right. What about that one that called himself a Jew? How he get here? On the plane. He migrated though, didn't he? He wasn't removed, he migrated. Came on, somebody said plane.
Yes, sir.
But we know how he migrated here, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
He wasn't removed. He got his wife and his 2 children in his suitcase and jumped on the ship and then came here. He wasn't removed. Nobody take him in chains. Let's be for real with this. Now, let's go now. We're going to come back. We're going to look at the Arab slave trade, because that's the one that really kicked this thing off. As far as Israel being removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, it really got